Okay, this is a big one. So, we're gonna do this a little bit differently than we have. Basically, we're gonna go in the map first, the hammer exploration second, then play the demo last. So, let's just kinda get into here. So, if you know what this map is, you might be able to, you already know what's going on. But, if you are using this to kind of get used to Interloper 8 before, moving on to the rest of the series, this will explain everything. Yeah. Type 5. The reason we're doing this in here instead of, in the demo playback is because it's laggy as hell in the playback. I will do one thing though. I'm gonna not full bright 1. And that's because where they're about to go where this is really, really dark. There's no real lighting in here. There's some lighting, but it's just super hard to see. And Interloper 9 is gonna play this as it originally plays anyways, so I figure it doesn't hurt to talk over it some and put on full bright, Just to kind of give something that you're not gonna get. Also, that little stick figure on the whiteboard reminds me of something. Nothing related at all, but just looks like a little character I like. It says goodbye in chat, which is interesting, and all I'm gonna say is that actually plays out a little bit differently in the demo. It's something that I barely see anyone talking about, because, most people aren't gonna sit through the entire demo, which is why I'm gonna play the demo at all at the end of this. And yeah, it crashes. Alright, give me one moment. I swear, even on my new computer, CSGO is the only game I have that takes 2 hours to load. Not literally 2 hours, but it just takes much longer than it should. Alright, let's let us start actually exploring. So, first thing, we're not really gonna have much of interest in this map. It's like a radio here somewhere playing that audio. But I think that's part of like the original map. So it doesn't matter that much. Yeah. Again, it's pretty normal. It's a pretty iconic map, really. So like, if there was anything major that was off, it would be visible kind of quickly. Here's the elevator they went in, though. Nothing's really happening in here, but if we start no-clipping down, what do you know? Sounds really similar to the stuff that was going on in Interloper 5 and what will happen in some later entries. But, yeah. And, yeah, if you didn't already know, this is kind of what it looks like down here. It's kind of a mess. Once we start going inside, yeah, it's not the worst thing in the world, but it's hard to navigate. So, let's head back real quick, because, this is an odd thing. Going through the ground, we can see, hey, that's the friend. That's the little friend that was going around. And if we get a bit closer to it, we can see that these aren't actually eyes. Well, no, those are eyes, but it has a weird texture inside of it. It's like the texture for one of the guys in this game. It's interesting to take note of. This is where it all started. That's my friend. The most interesting part is if we just start going around a little bit. Something that's not even really seeable in Hammer that we have to do in the map. Although, of course, I'll be going on my Hammer exploration soon. Why am I getting so many notifs? Jesus Christ. But if we go around long enough, well, we see hostage. I'm not on the right team to do anything with the hostage, so, you know, I'll just ignore that. But that's not it. This is it. There's more of these guys. They're exactly the same. The guy that we saw that was under the map is the one that's actually used in the cutscene. These guys just kind of sit here the whole time. This. But yeah. That's most of it, really. I don't think there's anything else that's of major note, so... So, best solution might be to just move on to Hammer. Let's do that. My processing. Obsolete cited. Who are you? T-Spot. I don't like you. Anyway, yeah, welcome to this. This is where everything, like, the player stuff is kept, and let's look at it at least. We got the name of the guy, we have this thing, another guy, the damn NPC name. Oh, this one is a prop, so it's probably the gun they use. And there's like multiple kind of stacked on top of each other. This one's view control data. I think that's the errors there. They're weird. But yeah. Going on to look at the rest of the shit, there's not that much. Of course, we're not really going to find much else weird in here, considering, this isn't really where anything that matters is. But let's look at the map comment before we go. F-Sky Server Gen and then the world. Fun. They're all called that for some reason. On the thing, what was that? It's a plant. Alright. Now, going down here, we have this thing marking like the center of the place. Interesting. And of course, here. Oh man. So first off, we had our guy here, going to where they are. Just an error, but doesn't hurt to look. And undefined? That's an interesting little thing to note. I'm going to wherever my other little friends are. I think over here? No. Somewhere. Somewhere over the rainbow. Way up high. There's you. So that means we're close. Here it is. They're both kind of tucked into the ground. And undefined 1. And, yeah, also 1. Weird. And that's that's mostly it. There's a little bit I skipped over, so I'll go back for that. But it's interesting, isn't it? I mean, what are we really supposed to take from this is my question. I don't know. Don't know if I should even really care, but that last thing that I kind of skipped over, I forgot to actually look at this trigger. Observation. Yeah, it's the one that starts the demo, but it's called Observation for some reason. Don't know why. I believe that's it, though. So, to finish this off, we're just gonna play the last demo. Play the demo in its entirety, and then we'll finish up the rest. If you're watching if you only want to see the interesting parts, if you're watching the single video, you can just kind of skip to the end. Don't you? Okay. You just kind of skip to the end of this, and if you're watching the full CSGO demo compilation, I'll have the demo UI up, of course, so you can just go to the end based off of that. So, yeah, I won't talk for the rest of this, though. Goodbye.